All right, so the first two projects here, after you create a server, Splunk, Suricata, Metasploit, and Drupalgeddon. I just want to talk through the steps here. So you've got two cloud servers you make, a Debian and an Ubuntu server, and then you install Splunk. That is kind of annoying. You have to make a Splunk account and log into Splunk and go to the downloads page, but then you don't download it if you're doing Linux. You just use this to get this command line wget command, which is the command you execute to download Splunk on a Linux machine. And one thing a student figured out is you can just Google, and somebody has made a GitHub repository of these Splunk download wget commands. So you can't even find them without bothering to make a Splunk account and all that. But anyway, once you've got that, you just execute that command in a Linux machine, and it gives you an installer, and you can then just use dpackage to install from the precompiled code. So that puts Splunk on your cloud headless server, and you can now connect to it, and it starts listening on port 443. So you can just go to your IP address of your cloud server on 443 and see a page to log in. And you chose the name and password when you were installing it. So when you're done, you can find a flag to turn in, and then you can add data to monitor the logs on your Linux machine. On a Linux machine, a simple thing to do is just monitor everything in the var log directory. That's one way to get information about your local server in. And after you've done that, you'll see the auth log and other logs just right available in Splunk. So then you can have your Ubuntu server and do some logins on it, and you'll be able to find the failed logins. If somebody is trying to brute force into SSH or something, you can see that there. And then you can install Suricata, which is an open source intrusion detection system. And you can start by giving it a sample rule that will just detect ICMP traffic. Or I think, anyway, more than 10 connections within a second. And then you can create that with a SYN flood by just using the hping3 command. That'll do a lot of attempts. A simple SYN flood attack, and you can detect it. Then you can update to the real rules for Suricata, which detect a lot of known real malicious traffic. And then you can send some traffic that will contain, I think, hentai, and therefore look like it is one of the botnets, and look for the traffic there. So that's just showing that you have a defense system running. Now the next one, you actually start by copying an image that I saved on my Google Cloud. This is pretty nice for teachers. You can save an image of a Google Cloud machine, and people can clone your machine. So you can create an image from mine, see GS Sam's images, purple1.tar.gz. It's a great, you have to pay for something for cloud storage that. You can't do that with a free account, but it doesn't cost much, and it's very nice. So you can start people with pre-compiled machines, and that's your Drupal target server. So anyway, if you boot up that machine and look at it, you'll see a default Drupal page, and that's a vulnerable target. So then you can get your Splunk working, and you can then, here's where you send that hentai traffic. And then down here, you send a Drupalgeddon attack. Drupal is full of serious security problems. There was Drupalgeddon was I think based on SQL injection, a fatal code execution flaw, and then there was another one and another one after it. So this is one that's appropriate for the vulnerable Drupal on that image. You download this Python code, and then you can adjust it and then attack the server with Drupalgeddon. And the point is, it sends a well-known attack that should be detected by Suricata. So it will detect it as a web application attack and have a flag you can find there. And then there's Drupalgeddon 2. This server is vulnerable to both of them, and you can see the alert for that. All right, and then you can add Splunk Stream, which is the tool that picks network traffic live off the network and adds it to Splunk. it's not like Wireshark. It doesn't capture the whole packets. It's more like NetFlow. It captures a summary of the transactions. And so you put that on in your Splunk, and it will then record live traffic. Then you can use Metasploit, and you can send a Drupalgeddon out of Metasploit and watch it come in and detect that. So you just get to practice a few attacks and defenses here and get a little bit used to how Splunk works, it being one of the main tools. All right. And as I mentioned before, if you're not familiar with Splunk, you might want to just focus very much on Splunk, and you might want to quickly move down to the Boss of the SOC. If you haven't done Boss of the SOC, it's the official training product from Splunk, and it's very nice. You analyze a lot of traffic for real attacks. All right, so I'm going to stop this recording.